Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. So, 3, 2, 1, my juicy little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. I'm going to keep using them until, bless them, they completely conk out. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. But I'm going to continue to shine my light, shine my light, shine my light. Okay, my delicious babies now. What's the time, Mr. Wall? So the time is nearly 3:05 in our old afternoon on Friday the 13th of February 2026. My delicious little babies. And it has been peeing down all day in our old England, in our Brummyland. Okay, my delicious little babies. It's not showing any signs of slowing down. This morning it did look as though it was sleeting. So it's certainly cold enough for weather, and you could just feel that coldness. Anyway, my delicious little babies, so that's the weather forecast. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously and that the weather's better in your neck of the woods than it is in ours. Okay, my delicious little babies, now I'm just got to go backwards a minute. Got to go backwards and I've got to go forwards. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, this is something different. Now then, this uploader happens to have 467,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, and it is called the, that doesn't mean no, just got an itch. The uploader is called capital C. They're all on YouTube, my delicious little babies, okay? Capital C, cheap. It's all together. It's all one word, my delicious little babies. Cheap audio man. Cheap audio man. So it's just a capital C, then the rest is in little writing, my delicious little babies. And it should read the title, I'm shocked. What is really behind the CD comeback? Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? Right. I'm shocked. What is really behind the CD comeback? Yes, my delicious little babies. So it seems to myself, and that video there is about 15, 16 minutes or something. Okay, it's not a long video, my delicious little babies. Now, with anybody not in that way, not in that way. He's explaining, and this is to do with Sony, everybody knows Sony. Okay, my delicious little babies, and he's explaining about the old CDs. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, well, actually, that doesn't mean no, just got another itch. You see, the fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, is this, I've still kept the majority of my CDs. Okay, my delicious little babies. I thought I'm not going to throw them out. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? I never managed to, to be able to save any of my records, but not to worry. These things happen. I'm sure they all went to a good home somewhere. Now then, my delicious little babies, so it's well worth a little listen. Many may say to themselves, well, why is she, even saying this? Well, there's always, there we are, a method to what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? And somebody had actually put in the comments, okay, I only looked at one, I think, and it was talking about Spotify. Now, I remember years and years ago when, ones used to use Spotify, like to play music and everything. But on this one comment, what was it now? It was along the lines of, they wasn't too happy to do with Spotify going back years ago. So, they got their old CDs out. Okay, my delicious little babies, I just thought I'd mention it. Now then, my delicious little babies, the next one, okay, is right, okay. This one here is called capital W in the old space bar in YouTube. You know, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, whisper, okay, then space capital V Vault. So I'll spell that for you: VAULT. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay. And that's the uploader, okay, my delicious little babies. I forgot now. Oh, I forgot to write down how many subscribers they had. Anyway, it doesn't matter, doesn't matter. This is what's more important. I think this is about 15, 16 minutes long. Okay, my delicious little babies. I've just not long watched it, listened to it. Four most disturbing live TV moments caught on camera. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Four most disturbing live TV moments caught on camera. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, they're disturbing because, well, the first one was all to do with that dirty effing paedophile, Jimmy Savile. Yeah. Putrid cretin. Okay, my delicious little babies. Just, you know, it's just, ugh, so smarmy. Filthy, dirty creature, man. And of course, they made a point of, you know, making that the start of their video. My delicious little babies can. There was another one where there was a shooting or something anyway, but this is all real laugh. And then there was one to do with the final one. This was the most that I'm going to focus on. That was my focus, sorry, was the first one, not for good reasons, not at all. My delicious babies on there we are. I'm just pointing something out, okay? It's just, you know, it's just like from the archives, you know what I mean? And the other one was the final part of the video, you know, the last part, my delicious babies, okay? And yeah, it's yeah, that was a different one to mention today, my delicious little babies. Gosh, my eyes itching. Yeah, it's a different one to mention today, my delicious little babies. Now, for most, they will already know about that putrid, filthy, dirty paedophile cretin, Jimmy Savile. But, you know, just sort of, let's just say, just that one's needs. So there we are. I'm not talking about everybody, clearly, my delicious little babies, but just to, there we are, just to jog others' memories. Just our putrid, there we are, and in your birth race, there we are, that dirty, filthy effer was. Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So, the next one, my delicious little babies, this one here, is it about 20 minutes long, I think, 20 minutes. And this uploader is called Capital S. Some of the alternative media may know about this, you know, and some may not. Me personally, I've never come across them before. Subject, space, capital A, access. So that's the uploader, my delicious little babies. Subject, space, access. And this upload happens to have 45.6 thousand subscribers. On YouTube, again, my delicious little babies. The video should read, Palantir in lockdown. When we tried to speak to them. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Palantir in lockdown. When we tried to speak to them. Yes, my delicious little babies. Well, you see, at one point, what they actually done, this is nearly halfway through the video. I haven't looked at the other half. Okay, my delicious little babies. But there was only two men there. There was the one man, and then what's the other one called? Is it, oh God, is his name Piers Corbyn? Is it, his other brother, worked, in the parliament. Martin Baby's him. Okay, Martin Babies. Well, there's only the two of them. Okay, and they just wanted just to talk, really, just to ask some questions. But I do not feel that Palantir were wanting to be very sociable. It seems. My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Such a large, colossal building. Number 20, is it? Because I'm not sure if there's any more numbers that go around the pillar. I'm not too sure, my delicious little babies. But yeah. So, but as large as it is, the building, my delicious little babies, well, it appears to myself that nobody wanted to speak. And at some point, like I said, nearly halfway through, well, they decided to lock the door. Mm. You know what I mean? There's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. We're gonna lock the door. We're gonna lock the door. It's one of those Mardelistic babies. So, these ones, Mardelistic babies, where they all stand on their stages, because they really have to feel that presence, don't they? And they really have to feel that they're super duper important. There we are. That's how they want to come across to you and I out here, my delicious babies. You see what I mean? But when they're simple things just being asked questions, well, they're not a liking it, are they? And you see it in other places, don't you, my delicious babies? Like, I don't know, that flipping Poxy Davos, in other places now then. Because when one's actually asked questions, you know what I mean? Like these so-called that they seem to like to feel are very super duper important men in suits. Okay, my delicious babies, okay? Well, they're not so comfortable when somebody approaches them to talk to them. But of course, they're quite happy to sit on their stage and preach to the rest of the world. Apart from a few countries who know nothing about what's going on, my delicious babies. But anyway, so at that point, my delicious babies, I do not feel, because like I said, I've got to watch the last part of it, that I do not feel that they were doing too well, my delicious babies, okay? Oh, been left out in the cold, wouldn't even let them in the building, my delicious babies, you see what I mean? Anyway. That's what you usually get with these type, isn't it, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Just like our poxy fake royal family in our old England, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? How many, bless the beautiful dear little souls, not in that way, not in that way. How many beautiful dear little souls in England, homeless? How many excuse me, how many beautiful families really need somewhere to live. But of course, with all of these residencies that they seem to have, never once do they ever want to invite anybody in, who they feel are below themselves, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So they'll all sit there all warm and cozy, and they'll watch others freeze. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. I am very super duper pleased about this, though. There are more and more and more, so I am super duper pleased about this. There are more and more and more, my delicious little babies. There we are, who are working up to the shout. You know what I mean? See, I'm just done saying it the way it is. I cannot stand any of these type of filthy, dirty creatures. There are leeches, aren't they? My delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Never done a stroke of work in their life, but they're happy to flipping leech off all of us. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. But I'm pleased to see that ones are starting. It may have been a slow process, but it is, I feel, there we are, improving bit by bit. You know, there's many of us who've known what these pieces of shart have been like for decades, my delicious babies. But of course, you know, you got others who will just sit in the pouring rain or sit in the snow and wait just to catch a glimpse of these pieces of shart, who are so super duper happy to rub, there we are, everybody's boat races. You know, to rub it in everybody's boat races, my delicious little babies, you know, everything what they have got. Okay, which of course, you know, they've stole, there we are, from everybody. Not only in our old England, there we are, but in the world, my delicious little babies, okay? They're very happy to flaunt that. Just like when the old bat of a queen, she was never a queen to myself. Okay, my delicious little babies, you know, when she's at wave, really what she was doing is that here. Well, do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. So that's that. And then finally, my delicious little babies. So, oh yeah, look at this. Now, of course, these all more than likely, my delicious little babies. These will just all be off one-offs. Sorry, my delicious little babies, okay? It's just things that I just want to point out. Oh, there is just one last thing, okay? But anyway, now then, my delicious little babies. So this up there that happens to have 160,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay, on YouTube. And this one is called capital W Wandering space capital T turnip. Oh gosh, you know when you look at some of the names, my delicious little babies, you know that the uploaders choose. I mean, wandering turnip. I mean, you got to laugh at that. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, at least he kept a bit of food in there. You know what I mean, with his choosing of words, my delicious little babies, you know, because we've got to remember the farmers, and there we are, we've got to remember the food, haven't we, my delicious little babies, anyway. Now then, the video should read, and what's this? I think it's about 16 minutes long. It's not long, my I know out of all of these, one's about 17 minutes. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So the video should read the title, the most ridiculous property for sale in the UK, you know, in our old England, my delicious babies. I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? The most ridiculous property for sale in the UK, which of course I call England, my delicious babies. Okay, so now I'm going to close my book. Okay, so that's that. But of course, you know, we do need to go back, and then we do need to go forward. Do you know what I mean? See what's going on here. Anyway, my delicious babies. So let's just discuss this briefly. So, what is this, my delicious babies? This is it's a property. It's an island, my delicious babies. Now, and on this island, okay, it does have like some couple of brick houses, sort of thing. My delicious little babies, very, very, very old. And this happens to be in, where is it? It happens to be in Wales. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, it is up for, wait for it, my delicious little babies, 350 grand. Okay, my delicious little babies. So this island is up for grabs for 350 grand. Now, why have I mentioned this, my delicious babies? I'll tell you why I've mentioned it. Because when your man there, not in that way, not in that way, when he went in, you know, to these little brick parts, it had a record player. It had a fridge freezer, you know, those really old fridge freezers. My delicious babies. What else did it have? Anyway, it had a number of things in there. My delicious little babies. So it's clear to myself somebody must have been there. It's quite obvious. And then in the other part, it had, one of those really, really old fashioned cookers. Now, apparently, nobody had lived in this house for decades. I think, did he say 60s or something? I don't know. Anyway, my delicious little baby as well. He doesn't seem to have any electricity. Anyway, he reads out to you, your man there. He reads out everything about the property. And of course, he also lets everybody know my delicious little babies, like these poxy estate agents, you know what I mean, where they also give you a load of, there we are, bullshit as well. There we are, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean. They all do it anyway. I mean, some of them are really dab hand at it. Do you know what I mean? Martin little babies can. And but when you actually take a look, I mean, not only that, but it's not from what I could see the easiest island to get to. Martin little babies. I don't know. Maybe it may suit somebody who's super duper loaded. Minted, ching ching ching. You know what I mean? Maybe they do not know what to spend their kaching. There we are, spend their kaching on. You know what I mean? So they may be able to do something with these, but I tell you what, whoever it is now, then there we are. They certainly got the flipping work cut out. I'm telling you that now. But I suppose if they were to try to keep looking at the positives, so let's look at the positives, okay? I'm just looking as an outsider in, okay? Because as we very well know, I am not a bricklayer, okay? I'm hard to look babies or anything like this. But what I will say to you is, if they could keep like the original, there we are, the original brick, okay, and they've got ones who can, let's just say, well, they can get the workers, to come to help to restore it. I mean, that would cost some serious kaching to do that. There we are, really serious kaching, okay? Well, if they could restore it, I'm pretty sure that it could look, there we are, really, really, pretty, I reckon. Because, it's not like your average brick, what you see now, Martinish little babies, where it all looks a flipping damn well same, you know what I mean? Martinish little babies can. So there's that. But when I was looking as well, because I continued to look mad. I'll tell you that the other bit in it. It's all right because I'm having a crossover here in my noddle with my conveyor belt. Now, what I want to say on the same video, then I've got to talk about just something else, just to do a few minutes. Well, two other things. Well, my delicious babies. The fact of the matter is, your man there also shows in London for the same price, 350 grand. Well, basically, it's a flat. Okay, my delicious babies. It's not like I don't know, like a large flat, like a 2 or a 3 bedroom flat. No. This is more like a studio flat. So how on earth can somebody justify putting a flat, what, because it's London, for 350 grand? And they have a effing laugh, man. There we are. You never see me ever spend that kind of ka-ching. Not even if I had it, I wouldn't. I mean, that is just damn rank. How are they getting away with this? And what your man there also pointed out is that instead of them putting this pokey flat in London for 350 ka-ching grand, instead of putting it down as a flat, they put it down as a house. He points that out as well, my delicious babies. Yeah. It's very interesting, for most. They probably wouldn't even, let's just say, if you glanced over it, you would miss, there we are, you'd miss that part, wouldn't you, my delicious babies? You see what I'm saying? So, very lastly, getting back to this island, yes, there is an awful lot of work. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but it's well worth, there we are, just a little watch and listen, my delicious little babies, okay. I mean, for anybody who knows all about islands and things, they've probably already seen this, but it'd be well worth, see, it's gone really loud then. My delicious babies, did you see that? The thing is, okay, it'd be worth it just for you to just take a look. Well, I mean, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you just want to be on your own, well, I suppose, you got a lot of ching. I suppose that would suit somebody, wouldn't it, Martalish little babies, you know what I mean? So you've always got to look at the, I don't know, I suppose the positives or something, haven't you, Martalish little babies? But I'm just wondering whether they could get that record player and the, it's itching a surprise. Whether they could get that record player and whether they could get that fridge freezer working, I'm wondering. It'd just make you wonder, wouldn't it? It's just little things like that. So when I was watching it, I was too busy looking at it as, you know what I mean? To say, oh, I wonder if they work, do you know what I mean? Or the oven and that, do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that's that. Now let me just switch over. So the other thing I wanted to say, because there's two other things, but the other thing I want to say is, now there appears to be an issue now. I never clicked on the video. I simply looked at it, Martin Space. Now there appears to be an issue because you got these shiny, brand new, spanking apartments, Martin babies. Now again, there we are. This is in a part of London. But what's happening is, Martin babies, it appears, only from what I could see on the title, so whether it's true or not, I've no idea. I'm just, pointing something out, mentioning it. Nobody wants to live in them. Okay, Martin babies, so they do not want to live in them. You can see what they've been doing. They're doing the same in our town centre, Martalish babies, our Brummyland. They're doing the same there, where they're just knocking flats up and everything, okay? Because they're trying to, there we are, make it like a concrete jungle. That's what you call it, Martalish babies. It's a concrete jungle. Simple things. I'm just done saying it. There used to be, I don't think, I really just do not feel it's like that now anymore. But there's another place of our Brummyland, Birmingham, Ardenish babies, in our old England. And everybody used to know this particular part as concrete jungle. It was Smethwick. That's where it was, Smethwick. And for most, they wouldn't even call it Smethwick. They'd call it, concrete jungle. Nobody could stand it, Martalish babies. They couldn't even stand driving past it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not too sure, like I just said, if it's still there anymore. If I had a car, there we are, I'd drive up and take a look, you know what I mean? Because everything changes, doesn't it? Martalish babies, over the decades. Anyway, Martalish little babies, sorry, there is just one more thing I need to say. I do not need to stumble with this. Now, lead paint. Now, you learn something new every day, Martalish babies. Well, capital G, Gary, then a space, capital W, Waterman. It's all one word. So it's Gary space Waterman on YouTube. He's now up to 5.21 thousand subscribers, Martalish babies. Well, I was listening to his latest videos, Martalish babies, and I keep missing the live because, you're supposed to get a notification and I just do not receive. And I'm not the only one, because there was, I think, a couple of others who commented as well that they too was not getting notifications. I think it's on this live chat or something anyway. So it's a bit like the look of the draw, if you just randomly look to see whether, he's uploaded one. But I'm really interested in all this sort of thing. And the other thing I want to say is that I do not, believe, myself, that everybody is, do you understand what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm not going to say no more, okay? What I'm interested in is hearing about the businesses to do with Company House and things like this. That's it. That's what I'm interested in, Martalish babies. Okay, I'm not interested in other things. Okay, so if I choose to listen to somebody, which I do at my videos as a hobby, as a point, rewind and start again, as I keep pointing out, I never needed to stumble there. Then that is my choice. If I choose to advertise somebody, who I think happen to feel are banging uploaders, then I shall advertise them, so that will never change. Okay, I'm interested. I'll repeat this once again in all of these different names and everything. It's very fast. There we are. It's very fascinating. Mardelistic babies kind. I mean, I'm sure that if I took a look, I mean, I could probably, you know what I mean, get me just figure of speech mardelistic babies. I could probably dig my heels in and have a good look. Do you see what I mean? But so saying that, I do not know half of the. Do you understand what I mean? Half of the businesses. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So it's like looking at a needle in a haystack. You know, where do you start? Really? Do you understand what I mean? Okay. Um, but it's all very fascinating. And what he was talking about, Mardelistic babies, was lead paint. Now, apparently, in 1909, in France, they banned. It's bad. Lead in paint. Now, I do believe. What year did dear Gary say? Not in that way. Not in that way. What year did he say? 1978? Did he say? In Born in the USA, they banned bad lead in paint. And then what year did he say in our old England? I think it was 1992. That then in our old England that they banned, banned lead paint. Now then, apparently the only ones who will be able to have lead paint will be these filthy, dirty rich folk. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? And no, I'm certainly not jealous or envious one bit. Not at all. Who would want to live there? Dirty, filthy, lying lives, my delicious little babies, because I wouldn't. I'd rather be poor and not have a pot to flipping pee in than live like these pieces of shit. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies, Kai? Some of the most poorest of families, and I've met like loads over my decades. And let me tell you, see how bright it went. Then my delicious babies, let me tell you, there we go. It's bright again. They're the most beautiful, not in that way, not in that way. The most beautiful families you'd ever wish to meet. And then you see these dirty, filthy rich now. They're the most putrid that I certainly would never wish to meet. You know what I mean, my delicious babies? So, what does this lead paint do? Getting to the point. It stops, my delicious babies, a lot of the radiation, you know, because they're flipping doing this to us. There we are all the time, aren't they, my delicious little babies? Okay, but look at that. I mean, and I must be honest, I never even knew about that. There we are. So, you know, you learn something new every day, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? So, I mean, even now, I mean, you know, a tin of paint, and then you can open it and give it a stir. But let me tell you, and everybody's noticed this with paint, surely to goodness, especially white. Okay, my delicious, but it goes yellow. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Can anyway. So that was really interesting, you know, to listen to, you know, and obviously to listen to. Well, it's not obvious to yourselves, my delicious babies, but it is to myself, you know, to listen to, you know, all these different names. I mean, flip me. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? You know, and poor Gary. I'll repeat it again. Poor Gary is having to stay in a tent. You know, when he's doing these videos and his hands are going all cold, his fingers are going all cold and everything. I really genuinely, to my heart, I feel genuinely sorry for the poor man. I really, really do, you know. Okay? Because they even took his motorhome off him. It's just terrible. My delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? What, just because you tend the truth, but because he, you know, he's very much at this point in time, and I cannot blame him. He doesn't trust anybody. Not even to go and meet somebody to, you know, not in that way, not in that way, to talk to them, because he has been asked and he just said, I cannot. You know what I mean, Mass? Look how bright it's going. You know, see that, my delicious babies, yeah? He just said he cannot. But imagine having to live like that. There we are at the moment, Mads Lichtig baby's guy. And not to mention what else he's going through. I think his wife, oh, it's terrible. Because they own half the house each, Mads Lichtig babies. Well, I think, I feel that, according to what he was saying, that his wife, his wife, that she wants half of his, she wants the whole house. And what he was saying is because they never had any little bairns, you see, so they never made a family. Well, anyway, they were a family anyway. Them two were together, you know what I mean? So therefore, they're a family, aren't they? Well, it was, very sadly, what's happened. They're not together at this moment. But what he said was, he said if we would have had a little family, he said that would have been different, so he would have, words to effect, not his exact words, but, he would have happily, gave the house over. Do you understand what I mean? So he's going through all of that as well. But he really is, there we are, trying his hardest, okay? The way I see, he's really trying to do his bit, you know what I mean, to make this world better. There we are. He genuinely is, okay? Because if you look at it, there we are. He must be going through things as well. Do you know what I mean, Mads? Delicious babies. Kind. He gets very tired because he's reading. Well, he's cold. He's tired. Do you understand what I mean, Mads? Delicious babies. Okay, and and he has all this information, and I should imagine he only has so long timeline, to give out this information. Do you see what I mean, Mads? Babies. But yeah, but please, if you take a listen. But yeah, I never knew that about lead paint. I never knew that at all, Mads babies, you know what I mean? But well, so saying that, I mean, I never knew flip me, how many flipping businesses the word, you know what I mean? Mads babies, yes. Anyway, so wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time you only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, and how I love you all so. And thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. Mad babies. Yeah, maybe we need to get our noddles together, not in that way, not in that way. I wasn't inciting anything. And maybe we need to demand, there we are, that we have lead back in our paint. Mardelistic babies, do you know what I mean? It's just a thought, isn't it? Why should only the filthy, dirty rich, who pieces of shit and robbed off everybody forever, why should they be the entitled ones to be able to have lead in their paint to protect themselves? But you and I out here, Mardelistic babies, oh no, no. And in the world, no, we cannot have it, according to these pieces of shit, we're not good enough. Or, it's like I've always said, isn't it? At the end of the day, they need to take a good look in the damn mirror. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll find that we are the garden and they are the jungle. They've been showing themselves to be quite wild over the decades, haven't they, my delicious babies? Anyway, so that's the end to my video. So thank you so very much for listening, okay? I know it seems like a ramble on. I know exactly what I'm saying, okay? Lots of love. Take care. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.